What we can discuss is, like, as we know that daemon process always runs in the background and it doesn't have any controlling terminal, so it will neither it will be displayed on console nor in any output terminal nor in any input terminal, or neither it will be an error logging file or any error file. So where if any error occurs in the daemon process, then where it should be displayed, that is the problem. So here the for this one only we are going to discuss. So one problem a daemon has is how to handle error message, because if any error occurs, it cannot be displayed anywhere. So how to handle the error in the daemon process if at all it occurs? It can simply write to a standard. It can't simply write to a standard error, since it should not have a controlling terminal, because it doesn't have any controlling terminal. So if any error occurs, it cannot simply write to the standard error. We don't want all the daemons writing to the console device, since on many workstations the console device runs on. This is not related. Now see here how to handle the error logging. See in this diagram. Here the error logging can be handled using a function called syslogd function. Syslogd. So how it handles? So any kernel routines, first it will create a log file, and that log, any process can open the log file, log messages, and it can send to dev klog, and from here it will be sent to syslogd. Similarly, any user process can call the syslog message, and it can write the syslog message to dev log, and from dev log, that is the Unix domain datagram socket, and from here it can the messages, error messages, can be sent to syslogd. Similarly, another thing, if TCP IP network, uh, using TCP IP network, any process, whether it is staying locally or remotely, they can write the error message to UDP port 514, and from here the messages can be written to syslogd file. Now syslogd file, it will return to file or log in users or sent to another host. So this will write to logged in users, or it can be sent to another host. So in this diagram we'll see one by one, line by line, how things are happening, whatever I explained. So first is kernel routines can call the log functions. So here you can see in the diagram, kernel routine is calling a log function, and these messages can be read by any user process that opens and reads the dev klog device. So these messages, it can be read by any user process who can open the dev klog device file. So that is the first way we can send the error message. Another is most user processes, that is daemon process, call the syslog function to generate log message. Another thing here you can see is user processes, they are calling the syslog messages. They call the syslog functions to generate log message, and here they are generating many user process, they call the syslog functions and to generate the log messages. and this causes the message to be sent to Unix domain datagram socket dev log, and this way the error messages can be sent to the device file dev log Unix domain datagram socket. Next is a user process on this host or on some other host that is connected to this host by TCP IP network can send log messages to UDP port 514. You can see that any user process, whether staying in the same system or connected to the system from remotely, they can send the error message to port number 514, UDP port 514. So there are three ways the error messages can be sent. Next, normally the syslogd daemon reads all the three forms of log message. So here messages have come. Now normally, so syslogd process will read all the error messages which occurred in these files. So normally the syslogd daemon reads all the three forms of log messages. On startup, this daemon reads a configuration file, usually etc syslog.conf, which determines whether different classes of messages are to be where different classes of messages are to be sent. So this one, this syslogd, it will read this syslogd process. It will read the etc syslogd.conf file, and which determines where these messages can be sent. For example, urgent messages can be sent to the system administrator. So if any of these messages are very urgent, so it can be directly sent to the system administrator and printed on the console, and it will be printed on the console, whereas warnings may be logged to a file. Our interface to this facility is through the syslog function. So all these things can be handled using the syslogd functions. So this is how the error messages generated by the daemon process can be handled through syslogd process. Now let us see the client server model. In general, a server is a process that waits for a client to contact it requesting some type of service. Now in this one, what is kernel, what is client and server? So in this diagram you can see that this process, it is working as a server. Server responsibility is to provide some services. Now here these three files are acting as a client. So these clients are requesting their messages need to be sent somewhere, or it need to be read. So here syslogd, it is reading their messages from these files and it is responding. It is not replying back. It is a one-way communication. It is not replying, but it is providing the service. It is listening to these files and it is reading the messages, and it is providing, it is sending the error message to somewhere. So here that figure, previous figure, it is talking about uh, the service being provided by syslogd server in the logging of an error message. That's what I said. That service is being provided by syslogd functions, which duty is to read the error message. Next, in the figure 13.2, the communication between client and the server is one. It is a one-way communication.